Hey, what's up, y'all? Hope you're doing well today. Today, I wanted to talk about Gibson Les Paul Gold Tops and why they might be the best sounding electric guitar ever made. I got hip to these when I moved from Austin to Atlanta, Georgia in January of 2024. I got connected with Eddie Ninevolt and Cody Matlock, and the two of them grew up listening to this guy, Sean Costello, who famously played his 50s Gold Top. So the two of them got really into Gold Top guitars, or Gold Top Les Pauls. Cody Matlock still plays a Gold Top Les Paul. It's actually William Bell's, or used to belong to William Bell. If you're not familiar with William Bell, the song "I Forgot to Be Your Lover," the Black Keys actually covered it recently. It's that William Bell. Cody brought that guitar over to a session one day when we were at Eddie Ninevolt's studio, and I was really blown away with it. I joked that it was an electric experience because I grabbed his guitar and I was holding on to an instrument cable that was attached to this vintage amp that wasn't grounded, and I had a shocking experience. But the guitar really was, it was the best sounding guitar I felt like I'd ever played. Definitely the best sounding guitar in the room out of everything we had. So I just asked to, keep playing that guitar for the rest of the session. And that kind of set me on a mindset for finding one for my own, or one for myself. So fast forward to March of 2025. I'm playing in Nashville with Rhett Scholl at the East Side Bowl. The next morning, we decide to go by the Gibson garage. I see this on the wall, pick it up, I play it. I sat there for so long that my parking expired, and I got a $90 parking ticket. So just fair warning, if you're parking in front of the Gibson garage, they will give you a ticket. But yeah, I sat there and played this thing for like 2 hours. I had to leave it that day. 2 months later, I was coming back through. Actually, it was more like a month later. I was coming back through Nashville, and I thought about stopping by. Was kind of worried that this would be gone, or if it was there, that I would play it, and it wouldn't be like I remembered it. And same thing happened minus the parking ticket. Sat there for 2 hours, played it, and a thing happened that I hadn't really experienced. And I feel like a lot of people that used to have this thing or used to have this experience don't experience it as much anymore, and a lot of younger players maybe have never experienced it. The art or the experience of going into a store, sitting down, playing an instrument, connecting with it. Like most of my guitar purchases and gear purchases in general have been online, and I feel like there's this thing of seeing reviews and things on YouTube and on social media where we see these instruments, and it's just like, oh, that looks cool. Like, you order it and then you get it and try it, and like maybe the first day you're excited, but it wears off eventually. I don't know, it was cool to be able to, it sounds silly, but play a guitar, like bond with it, think about it for a month, dream about it, and then come back and play it and still like feel the same way. Like I've had this guitar for 6 months now. I got it right around Jazz Fest this year, so in May. And this, the feeling still hasn't worn off, and that's rare because I've fallen in and out of love with a lot of instruments, and usually, it doesn't take long before I'm starting to look for something else. So all that being said, I grew up playing Strats and Tellys, and around 2020, I kind of started playing Gibson guitars, and I was really immediately drawn to their P90 sort of instruments, just because they're big single coils. So coming from the Fender world, it was a easy transition. And I remember the first Junior I sat down with was a Custom Shop Junior at the Gibson showroom that's no longer in Austin. But I was kind of taken back by how big and rich and acoustic esque that P90 sounded. These sound different than the slab of mahogany juniors. I know there's a whole Tonewood debate, but I mean, from my ears and my experience, like there's a huge difference. I don't think that it's dog ear versus soap bar. I mean, there might be a little bit of something there, but I don't know. I feel like a lot of it has to do with the maple cap that's on here. This thin strip of maple that goes. I feel like it kind of reins in and compresses the sound. Versus just the raw mahogany. It's very just super harmonically rich, and all the frequencies are just going, unchecked. And this, to me, it seems like it kind of, binds them together a little bit more, and you get a tighter, more controlled, focused sound. And it sounds amazing. I played a 1953 or 52 Les Paul Gold Top at the Guitar Center in Hollywood. It had the crazy, funky wraparound bridge from the early days, so I couldn't palm mute or anything. But one thing I noticed about those P90s is that they sounded, or at least specifically the neck pickup, it was very, like, I don't know, woody, very thin. Reminded me of like a big Tele or a Stratocaster neck pickup. And kind of coming from that world, like for me, I don't know, that's just a sound that my ear sort of leans to. And the problem with like a lot of modern P90 equipped guitars is that, for me, not for everybody, but for me, is that the neck always gets a little muddy, because I spent so many years playing juniors. Like, I'm just used to setting my rig up and basing everything around the bridge pickup. So naturally that makes the neck dark. So what I did was I reached out to Jim DeCola at Gibson USA, and we talked about pickups. I thought about doing a staple pickup, but he said that was really invasive, and to try this rod magnet P90, which is basically, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this. Let's see if we can make it happen. So on here, you see there's the screws throughout these, I guess, pole pieces. And then there's no screws here because these are individual magnets. So this is similar, kind of like a giant Strat pickup. You got the individual pole pieces for each string. I can't really adjust them individually, but it does give it a very Fender-esque sound, comparatively to a stock P90. So let's check that out and see what that sounds like. This is just the guitar going straight into the Marshall. The Marshall set pretty clean, so it's pretty bland right now. I'm gonna pop on this Klon and give it a little bit of push. So puts it more in that Fender-y sort of single coil, but Fender-y space. And then the bridge, if we flick over to the bridge, we've got This is a 2025 Murphy Lab. I believe it's the ultra heavy aged. You've got a lot of wear on the back, all the checking and some of the tooling marks here on the front. I love this thing. Sounds awesome. I don't really. I like to, I do tinker with my guitars, but I didn't really feel the need to do much to this. One thing that people keep recommending is for me to try the Music City Bridge, wraparound bridge. I don't know. Guys, let me know if I should try this, in the comments. If I should try the Music City Bridge. Maybe I can do a video on that and we can do a comparison on a before and after. There's not much to say, and yet there's so much to say about how good these guitars are. It's so balanced. That's one thing I like about it. You can plug this guitar almost direct into, a mixer, and it still sounds great. Like I said, just straight into the amp. The amp's turned down really low too, so I'm pushing it with these pedals to get it to do the thing, But even just dry with nothing, turning off even the slap back and everything, it's just. It almost sounds like an acoustic guitar. So, when you're starting with something that's just so balanced naturally, I feel like it's hard to mess it up too much, no matter what you do further down the chain. It can be done, for sure, To me, nothing sounds like this. Even that Junior, which you can kind of see in the corner, it doesn't sound like this. It sounds like it's got its own thing, which I love too. Nothing sounds like the way these guitars sound, and they all kind of do a similar thing. They're all kind of occupy that same sonic space. The custom shop ones, the Gibson USA line, same sort of thing. If I could only have one instrument to do everything with, it probably would be this. I will say, if it's end of the world and resources are slim, maybe a Telecaster, and that's just because they're indestructible. But at that point, who's playing concerts and stuff anyway? So taking that scenario out, it would be this. If I need a real Strat sound, I can grab a Strat and make that sort of thing happen. I do that often, but just in terms of an all around, great sounding instrument, this thing does it. All right, guys, that's about it. So if you have any questions or any experiences you want to share, I'm going to be posting these videos a lot more frequently now. I just redid this whole room to make it more aesthetically pleasing and set up for YouTube videos. In these sort of videos, I'm going to be talking about a lot of guitar and gear related stuff, some music industry things and thoughts as well. But my original music is also hosted on this channel, so be sure to check that out. If you want to support me in this channel, you can join the Let's Get Loud Club. I'll have a link to that below in the description. Members of the Let's Get Loud Club get access to my monthly live streams where we do stuff similar to this, but we get to interact in real time, monthly giveaways, live show tickets, Lots of fun stuff. Thanks for hanging out, guys. See you in the next one. Let's get loud.